Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. Thank you all the members, all the patrons. Make sure to subscribe and let's get into it. We are trying to hit 50,000 subscribers, so please subscribe to help out the channel and myself. And let's go guys. So another tier list video. It's been a while since I've done one of these, and yeah, let's talk about raiders. Not specifically only raiders, but we are going to mention together with the raider its main weapon, which will be a gun or a missile or anything like that. Okay, so I will divide in tiers depending on the raider itself, the detection range, the sensitivity to notching, and just overall sensitivity to chaff as well. Also, I'm going to consider, as I was saying, missiles, so the weapon systems in general, so range and stuff like that, if it can be integrated with all other systems or whatever you have, like for example, the Soviets have the IRST, I will consider that as well. And also the BR, obviously the BR can change a lot on an aircraft, so yes, I will consider that as well, okay? So let's get into it. We are going to start, as always, with the US, the same order as we normally do with the countries in the game, but with some minor changes. But yes, first of all, the APG-66. So there isn't much to talk about each specific variant of the APG-66. Overall, it is a very good raider, and by the way, I forgot to mention, it will be on the thumbnail and on the title as well. This is for rank 8 raiders only, okay? If you guys like this type of video, let me know in the comments. And yeah, if I get enough views on this, I might do a one on the tier 7 and tier 6, maybe join them together, because tier 6 and tier 7, it's not that many raiders maybe, but anyway, let's go. Let's continue with the APG-66. So it is a radar that it is used in many aircraft. So yeah, the APG-66, the normal one, it is mainly used on 3 F-16s that we have in game. Normally the Block 10s, okay? Is it the Japanese one? No, the Japanese one is the V1 as well. But the 2 Block 10s that we have, the American one and the Nets, they both use the APG-66. The thing about the APG-66 is that it doesn't have a lot of range. The sensitivity to chaff, it is medium, I would say. And also, I think the sensitivity against notching is very good. So it has some goods and some myths, basically. It's not a very bad radar, but it lacks on the range, and specifically on the APG-66, which is used on the base models of the Block 10s, it doesn't have any radar missiles. That's why I'm going to put it as not great, not terrible, maybe only good at one thing. I mean, yeah, I forgot to even mention, we are going to divide a little bit different this time. We have omnipresent. I had to just ignore this. It's just to appear the whole word here. But yeah, omnipresent means that the radar is amazing. We have great radars, not great, not terrible as always. Only good at one thing. There are some raiders that are only good at one thing, and blind as a bat, right? So the APG-66, I don't know. I feel like it is only good at one thing, but I would put it on not great, not terrible, just because it is the same radar as the other ones, but it doesn't have a radar missile. So it kind of lacks a little bit on that, right? So it is not great, but it is not terrible as well. It's a radar that can be used in normal matches, but you were probably not gonna even know that it's there, right? Because you're just using the N9s and stuff, or air to ground. So it's kind of a forgotten version of the APG-66, but mainly because it doesn't have the sparrows in the game. Then we go for the V1. The V1, it is, on the performance of the game, it is the same as the APG-66, but in the versions that we see in-game, on the ADFs and on the Japanese AJ, it has 2 sparrows. So I think it is a great radar. I think it's a radar that it lacks a little bit on the range, but everything else is pretty good on this radar, man. It is like on the sensitivity and stuff, it can be pretty mid compared to other radars, but it is indeed a very good one. And yeah, it's just a reliable, easy radar. Of course, these radars only have the normal medium PRF. That's probably one of the reasons why it has such a short range, but still, the range on these things will be a maximum of 60 something kilometer if the target is really big, like an F-14 or something. So yeah, it's not the greatest thing ever, but it's plenty to use the Sparrow missile of this radar. So it's a great radar, very easy to use, and just has the problem of the range, in my opinion, that it is lacking. The V3, obviously, I would put it in the same. It is the radar on the MLU, also uses the AIM-7s, and I think it's just basically the same radar. In real life, it should have the TWS. So in game, we still don't have the TWS, but hopefully soon enough we will have it. So yeah, if it gets the TWS, it will help a little bit, maybe a little bit more range. It would mean that it is a tiny bit better than the V1, but for now they're basically the same. So yeah, it's only used on the Chinese, the F-16, on the Chinese Tech Tree, right? Then we go for the APG-66J. I have to put it on the same. It is basically the same radar as the other ones. It is a Japanese version of that. It is only used on the EJ Kai, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, it is overall the same radar, has 4 AIM-7s, and just overall a very good radar, especially in its BR, which is a little bit lower than the 12.0s of the F-16. So yeah, nothing else to say. Great radar, great missiles. Of course, the platform is a little bit worse than the F-16s, but the radar itself is amazing. Then we go for a new radar added last patch, in this patch, the APG-76, a radar that it's used on the Kurnas 2000. It is a pretty good radar as well, but it has one thing that it's weird. It is a copy-paste of the APG-66 right now, so I have to just put it in the same tier, right? It is a radar that is good, has the same problems, basically the same. It is a copy-paste on the files, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if it should be or not. Hopefully it's changed if it is not in real life the same radar. But yes, it is pretty good. You can use the Sparrows, and it's just overall a good radar. Has only one problem. All of these radars have only one problem, which is range. Okay? Then we go for the AWG-9. The AWG-9 is an odd one. I mean, I should add in the omnipresent just due to the range, but it has some problems. It is limited to the high frequency one, so on the pulse Doppler. So I would put it in like a mix. There is a way of doing this. I don't know how exactly, but basically it is an amazing radar on range. It has one of the best missiles for BVR, which is the Phoenixes, right? And also the Sparrows. And it has the ability to carry 6 Sparrows. And yeah, the range is like 200 kilometers. So it is the most absurd radar in the game right now in terms of range. You can see anything. It has a little bit of a problem on the sense of sensitivity to like notching and stuff, but it is just due to the technology, right? And the limitation of you only using high PRF modes on the HDN can make it lose lock sometimes. And if you're using the Sparrow, you might lose the missiles, but just due to the range of it, it has to be omnipresent, right? It's just an amazing radar on that. So yeah, it has to be, right? It has to be. Then we go for the Soviets. These are the American radars, very good radars, very basic ones on the APG-66s, but the AWG-9 is amazing, has its problems, but it is very good, and if you use it right, you can see everything. On the Russians, on the Soviets, we have 3 radars. We have the Sapphire 23 or the Sapphire or N008. I will include here the MLA radar as well as the MLD, because even though in real life they have a tiny bit of difference on ECCM and other things, in the game they are the same radar. Same goes for the N019 Rubin. They are a little bit different on the exported 912A for the Germans than the 913 for the Soviets, MiG-29, but in the game they are the same radar. So yeah, consider that the German and Soviets are all represented over here because they are Soviet radars, right? So here it's kind of hard to actually say about the N008 or the Sapphire 23 because for most people it would be not great, not terrible. To be honest, it is a radar that it is limited in range. It is a little bit less than the APG-66. But the main problem with it is that it is not a fully pulse Doppler radar. My personal opinion is that it is a great radar. I think it needs to be respected in a way that it is very complex to use. It has 4 different modes depending on where you're going to use it and how you're going to use it. If you're flying low, trying to get people really low or a little bit low, not that low, or just flying high or looking down, it has different modes with none of them having a pulse Doppler, just the MTI, right, which uses the pulse Doppler, the Doppler effect, but it is a different type of filtering. And I advise strongly to not use the MTI ever. But the thing is, the normal search modes have their own way to filter ground clutter, and it is just a remarkable radar due to that. It has problems dealing with ground clutter, but I never had problems doing BVR with it. Yes, it has a limited range, and you are kind of blind until a certain point, but the APG-66s are the same. I think it has another problem of dealing with chaff as well, so you need to learn how to use it. So if you do learn how to use it, it's a very complex radar, but it is a great radar. If you don't know how to use it, it is just a normal radar. It can be good, but normally it's going to be okay-ish only. So I will put it on here because most of the players will never really grasp the full capabilities of this radar because it really is a tough radar to learn. So yeah, just great, not terrible, you know? Then we go for the Rubin radar. The Rubin is a tough one, man. I love this thing. I love the Soviet radars. And I think I just have to put on omnipresent, even though the Zuk is better than the Rubin. The point beyond this and talking about this radar is that it has more range to the APG-66, and it was the first radar to be a full pulse Doppler radar. So the technology on sensitivity to notching was so good that they even didn't add a normal mode for the radar. So it has only pulse Doppler. And also it is a multi PRF mode radar. So you can change from medium PRF to high PRF to get longer ranges in a head-on and shorter pulse frequency changes in the not frequency changes, repetition frequency, you know, a higher repetition frequency of the signal or a lower one, depending on the situation. If the guy is in a head-on with you for a longer range, use the high PRF, the HDN, or if he's closer to you trying to notch or something, use the normal search pulse Doppler or TWS pulse Doppler that will use the median PRF, right? And it is just the first one that had that, and there is only one radar that has that as well, which is the Zuk. So due to the sensitivity of it, due to the sensitivity of chaff, which is very good, due to the range that it's not as good as the AWG-9, but all the other technologies are better than the AWG-9. The only problem with it compared to the AWG-9 is the range, because it's a half the power of the AWG-9. So on watts, I think it's called. I think it's measured. So yeah, it's just an amazing radar. As I said, it has a little bit of a problem on the range, but only compared to the other radars, because it has like 80 kilometers of range detecting F-14s, for example, and 60-something detecting F-16s, which are smaller targets. So it's plenty, and it's far. The R-27ER is the most amazing missile in the game. So yeah, the platform is just amazing to use. So these 20 kilometers less than the Zuk, for example, doesn't change too much. Then we go for the N010 Zuk. And if the Rubin is there, of course the Zuk has to be there. It is a newer technology, a newer radar from a much younger technology, right? And it is just better overall. It has more range, 20 to 30% more range. Even though it is a smaller antenna compared to the version of the Zuk for the MiG-29 that was made for the MiG-29 later, right? So yeah, it's just an amazing radar. It even needs a new scale because it only goes to 100 kilometers, but it can detect targets such as the F-14 from further than that. So yeah, it's just amazing, man. The best radar in the game for me. Amazing sensitivity for chaff, for notching, a great range. I mean, it's similar to the AWG-9 in some areas. Not really, though. It's like 100 kilometers for 100 and something kilometers for an F-14 and like 80 for an F-16. So it's not as close as the AWG-9, but still the technology, still a multi-mode radar, so we can change from in the sense of a PRF, right? So we can change from a high PRF to a medium PRF, the same as the Rubin. Very good technology, just the best radar in the game. It just loses for the AWG-9 due to the range situation. It's the only thing that the AWG-9 will win every single radar, but everything else, the Rubin and the Zuk did the crown. It's just the best radars ever. It really is. Then we go for the British radars, the ARI 23274. This is the Tornado IDS radar, and I will put it on only good at one thing. This radar doesn't have many things that it can do right now. On the Marine Flieger, it can detect ground targets such as ships, right? But even that, it's kind of useless due to the missiles that are kind of bad. But you can use it on one thing that it is kind of good, which is actually a lead indicator for the gun for the Tornado. So you have a 3-kilometer range that you can lock a target, an air target, and basically have a lead indicator for the gun. So at least it has that, but it is blind as a bat, right? It has the gun that it actually helps, and yeah, for what it's supposed to do, it's fine. Of course, we need the ground radars to be added to the game, then this thing will be actually useful. Then we go for the Foxhunter W. So the Foxhunter Type W, it is the radar of the Tornado ADV. It's an amazing radar, but it has some bugs. I will put it on great radars just because it has the possibility of being a very good radar. I think if it gets fixed, it will be omnipresent because it has an amazing range of more than 120 kilometers of any type of target. But the thing is just bugged. It doesn't detect anything. It doesn't appear on the radar scope until it's like on 80 kilometers. So yeah, already by that, on that range and the way that it notches and stuff, it is kind of hard to notch this radar. It's not that easy. It has a problem with chaff, okay? It really does have a problem with chaff, especially the big ones such as in the MiG-23 MLD. But I mean, it is still a very good radar in certain situations, and the missiles are usable. The thing is that the aircraft is very bad, and it just takes all the advantages that this radar could provide, right? If it gets fixed, it would be omnipresent because it is one of the best radars in the game, but right now it's just kind of bugged and it doesn't appear on the scope, so yeah. Then we go for the PS-46, and don't get me wrong, but for what it is right now, kind of blind as a bat. The range on this thing is ridiculously small. I don't know if it's a bug or anything. Some people said that it is a bug, but I managed only like 40 kilometers and something with the pulse Doppler in normal battles. And with the normal search mode, I got to 50 something. But it's nothing compared to any of these radars. Even this radar can be a little bit more useful, to be honest. Of course, this is a more powerful radar than this, but the thing is, for its purpose, is very bad. And this doesn't have that good of a purpose. So, yeah, the way that it is, the missiles, the Sky Flash is just terrible as well in the range and other things. It is not a BVR weapon system at all, right? And it is really, really bad on the range, man. I know it might be a bug, but it is just disgusting, man. It's like you see the contrails, you see the black spot on the sky. The target is already firing missiles at you like from the the range of these, and you didn't like even detect the target. It doesn't matter if you use TWS, search mode. I mean, I tried everything. The max that I could, it's like 50 kilometers. So right now it is blind as a bat, especially if you're trying to do BVR. It is a really bad radar for what it is trying to do. So hopefully they fix it if it's a bug. And then we go for the CSF RDI. I mean, I have to put it on omnipresent, right, guys? This radar, yes, it is a very modern radar, is about the same time as the Zuk. So, of course, it is going to be good, right? It is the same time frame as these three radars. But the thing is that, I mean, it's such a small radar. It's probably one of the smallest radars in the game, maybe even smaller than the APG66. I have to check. And it has an amazing range, man. It has a better range than the Rubin. It can detect targets from to like 90 kilometers, maybe 100 kilometers, depending on the target. I have to test it out a little bit more. But it is just an amazing range. It gets proper locks to deliver the Super 530D that it has right now. It is a very good missile as well. It doesn't have the most amount of range in the missile-wise, but up close until like 30 kilometers is very useful. The Russians will have a lot more range in the AUG-9 as well in the sense of missiles. But the RDI is such a good radar and such a fun radar to use that it needs to be up there. It is a very good radar, and I respect this radar very much because even though it is a limited aircraft and number of weapons, the Mirage can actually do a lot using this radar. And you have a lot of situational awareness due to that in the bigger maps. So yeah, very good radar. But anyway, of course, I have to tell you that most of these radars, obviously they are good. I mean, they are rank 8. They're obviously going to be good. But there are some that are problematic. The PS46 is the worst one. It's just completely, oh my god. The ARI, I mean, without the ground radar modes, it's just bad. You call almost useless. But it has the ability to be used with the gun, which is okay. The Sapphire is a very complex radar that can be very good in the right hands, but it is hard. The Foxhunter is amazing, but it is bugged. The APG66s and the 76, they are amazing as well, but they are very small radars that don't have the range. The AUG-9, amazing range, but poor sensitivity, very easy to lose locks. Rubin and Zuk, amazing, okay range on the Rubin, and amazing range on the Zuk, but overall the technology amazing on sensitivity. Everything else is just the best. IRST, R27ERs, and the RDI is just overall a very, very good radar in every single aspect. The only problem that I would say is the ability to carry only 2 missiles, but then the Rubin also does that, and all the APG66s as well, and the PS46 and the Sapphire. So a lot of radars have that problem as well. So it is a very reliable and good radar. So overall, this is it. Let me know in the comments if you agree with me or not. Kind of a long video, sorry about that. And make sure to subscribe, and I see you guys on the next one. So bye guys, see you.